other type of transaction that we want to get the right information and be forced to put the right information in to make sure that the data is correct. So let's take account opening as a really good example here. We know that quite often we want to do maybe a check with some sort of centralized credit management database to try and prevent fraud, which is quite prevalent in the industry. And that should send the user down a certain process flow that allows them to do that, forces them to get the information and get it into the software. But other areas, like if there is just simply a credit opening document, then how can we make sure that that is filled out correctly and the right fields are populated by the customer, so we can make sure we've got all of that information. And making sure that there's reminders in the system so that the users are prompted what they should be doing and how they should be entering this information to make sure that nothing has been lost. So that's setting up an account, and that's a very important part of the rental process. But if we move through and we start thinking about some of the transactions, so let's say a quote for our customers or a contract for our customers, ideas like the credit check, well, making sure that each user has to go through a credit check of the client, make sure that the client is not overdue on any of their invoices. And by forcing that and making sure that that user has to go through that, you're ensuring that the process is followed and we have consistency. Also, there is other areas where we know customers try and get around the system. So for example, if there is uninvoiced debt whereby the customer has gone and rented equipment very quickly from multiple branches and there is no real invoices there, but there's an uninvoiced debt. Again, forcing that process by the user to check that uninvoiced debt and making sure that it is appropriate for that customer. And then other areas like thinking about the purchase order number. Well, we might know that the purchase order should be of a specific format for that customer, forcing the user to confirm that that format is correct for that customer as that transaction proceeds. Again, relatively simple things, but the system can help with enforcing that set of processes and making sure that it is always consistent.